You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 177 of East Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by co-host Zach Burcham and some guy named Mark Brim who said, yeah, I'll do your podcast.
Why not?
Yeah, Stacy Guffey's watching. We were talking before we started, and Stacy Guffey, the guy in Sulphur, who always leaves his cop car out there. Now you're going to have, you just gave him the idea. You're going to have a Stacy Guffey Duffy, Stacy Guffey Duffy, the dummy out there.
Like I run Waze, and so on Waze you can report like a speed trap. And if the police officer's creative enough, I don't report it because I'm like, you know what? Kudos to you, sir. And that was caught me for like years going to Richmond every week.
We're talking if you go watch Super Troopers back in the day, there was the guy who would, have his cop car sitting on the bridge with the guy in uniform, and then he'd be down below fishing. All right. So what are we talking about today, Zach?
Looks like we're going to talk about it's not going to be safe outside for the holidays, apparently. We already know that ahead of time. We've got the big news with the Trump's taxes, of course, and then election updates for Joe Jorgensen and Donald Rainwater. I know Joe Jorgensen was in town, or not Newcastle.
Westfield, Hamilton County. So this show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you will always learn something new. Producer Chris is going to be walking in tardy, and Dakota was tied up tonight, so it's the Jer, Mark, and Zach show tonight, and we're going to try to figure it out as we go along. It is a miracle that the video got working. I was in full boomer mode trying to get the video started.
Of efforting, and he was using terms I had no idea what he was doing. It looked, you'd think it'd be simple. I'm looking over there, and it looks like he's reading code and moving things around. I was like, oh,
there's a one-page set of notes that were designed and written before they changed Facebook. That was one of my biggest problems. And then we do have video, but it does not have our normal fancy Boss Hog logo with the title and all that other stuff that Dakota gets up there, because that's in the 201 class. And I'm skating by with a D- at this point. We are on the air and it works. But the chat's working, and it's good to see people out there. I see my cousin Donnie down in Florida, hero Donnie, checking us out. Oh, so we have to do some thank yous, Zach. You want to handle that part?
Yep, it's cooler outside, but it's toasty in the studio, toastier than it could. Then it's not cold out. And we thank all the Patreon people, the people that contribute on a regular basis to help keep the lights on, keep the electricity going, the heat and air conditioning, transitioning from air conditioning to heat this time of year. And if you contribute more than $50 a month, you get mentioned every episode. So we got Chris Lamb, who's running for local school board. We got Christy Avery, who's kind of like the official, I call her just kind of like the mom of the Boss Hog. She's been supporting for the entire time that you could do it. You got Jonathan Phillips, who's the official car guy to go see him. And then we got Anthony Meyer, the newest member. Also, if you doing that, you still want some other stuff, you want some swag, check out the T-Chip stores. I might try and throw those links up, or I'll wait for Guffey to get back. But those are BHOL1, 2, 3, and 4, and BHOL mug, which will get you the mugs. And I believe that's also where the like face masks. Dakota calls it a bandolero, but like the net gaiters, which I know Mason Rottinghouse has one. It looks pretty good. Looks very professional. So check those out. It's another way to support the show.
Very good. Yep. The I think my parents have one too. I know we sold at least 2 or 3 of those, and it said it was going to take like 6 weeks to come in. They took like a week and a half or 2 weeks. They undersold and over delivered on the deliveries. So, and there's news that it's going to go out till like November 1st. So, you might have to have that mask for a little while longer. Nobody wants to have it. Obviously, we'll be talking about that on the show as we go along. But, yeah, that's the story. Oh, hell. So Indy Star yesterday, Mark, said it's still not safe to go outside.
It is not. It is not.
the Circle of Lights, the 100,000 people that normally show up in downtown Indianapolis for the lighting of what I have to imagine you probably object to, the world's largest Christmas tree.
And why would I object to that?
Do you
All of them.
do you think it's a real tree?
I bet it is 100% real. They're watering it every night.
Are you even familiar? I don't know. You're practically from Ohio, so I don't know if you understand or
Did
know
you even get
Indianapolis
station? Yeah, you're more of a Dayton station person.
Oh, Richmond is all Dayton, pretty much. We're another world. I mean, you guys are Hoosiers,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of us over in Richmond, we're the pretenders.
You guys are the ones where on Dayton TV they say, "Oh God, Richmond's getting hammered. You got 15 minutes before the weather gets bad over here in Dayton."
Yeah,
that's probably what happens to you.
Totally.
So there's the Soldier and Sailors Monument is in the Circle, in the Circle City, Indianapolis, and they string up probably about now, a bunch of union electricians string up lights from the top of it all the way down to the bottom, and they make it into the world's largest Christmas tree. They don't turn it on. They don't turn it on until the night after Thanksgiving. So what has become Black Friday is the Christmas lighting ceremony in Indianapolis. Normally 100,000 people show up. All these bands come out, and it's a big celebration for the community. COVID casualty.
Not going to happen.
Not happening this year.
I'm not surprised.
I said at this point, if you're just going to do it on TV, Mark would probably be happier. And since you're not really an Indiana person, maybe you don't understand the reference. But I said if they just put in a VHS from 1990, Sandy Patty would probably be singing, and you'd be just fine.
I didn't get the reference, but I get your gist.
You don't? Yeah. Do you know who Sandy Patty is?
No, actually, no.
That's unbelievable. So she was like a world renowned. It's playing over there. You're good. You're fine. It's functional. You can go back to your chair. Producer Chris has walked in. We got it figured out magically. I'm glad to see that you spend just as much time watching the show from afar as you do when you're in here figuring out what's going on and how we're doing. You didn't get a notification that the show came on?
Well, I was still looking at houses, and so I have not looked up Facebook yet. So
did you buy a house?
We're going to try to put an offer in.
All right. There we go. Option A or option B?
Option A.
Okay.
How are they going to keep people from going to downtown? I guess they'll turn you away.
I don't know. They're public streets. It's
not like a ticketed event. It's just
how many people are just going to show up to watch them? If they're going to light it, someone's going to watch them light it, right?
How many people are going to be rebelling and because you can't go shop. A lot of stores now are before even COVID came around. They said, we're going to close for Thanksgiving, so people might be like, I've got to get out and do something on Friday instead of shopping.
Yeah, it's hard to know what's going to happen with that. I guess if they don't put up any speakers and if they don't make it a show publicly, then they're just going to tell you to disperse. Or do you think maybe they'll set it up and just have the fire hoses up and just Hogshead will have dogs to let loose on people and fire hoses and push them off
or tear gas,
drive them away.
Tear gas off
the riot here.
If you show up, you show up, unless you're blocking traffic or something like that. I would assume because people are going to show up. They're not going to turn them away. 2 weeks ago, weekend before last, the great town of Webster, Indiana, by God, had their pancake breakfast and car show. Not canceled, not a COVID casualty. I brought my kids there with our mouths and our noses exposed, and we walked inside this fire department, sat elbow to elbow, eating goddamn pancakes and sausage, and looking at classic cars parked out front. The way it should be.
What year was this in? It doesn't sound like 2020.
This was, believe it or not, 2020.
This
was 2020.
The Wild West of Wayne County.
Had a grand old time, and there were some people there. There was one guy there, I think he was like 126, 127 years old. He was wearing a mask. I saw another person there who was probably 80, 90, 100, wearing a mask because they felt as they were compromised. The rest of us living our lives, enjoying life. There was a bounce house there. All my kid, other kids, all the kids, all just beating the hell out of each other in a bounce house. By God.
So, how many times have you contracted COVID living that lifestyle?
I feel pretty good.
You don't look good, but
which is to say, I look about normal.
Well, it's just that you look like you've lost a lot of weight, and that's one of your fat coats from high school.
This is I've only had this for a year and a half.
Army Navy surplus. It's like this drab olive green shirt, a jacket, coat.
I want to be like that girl from Freaks and Geeks. Just want to look like her.
God,
there's a reference. Did you get that one?
That is probably the most modern show you watch. Freaks and Geeks is 2005, maybe 2004.
1999.
Is it? Judd Apatow.
We'd have to double check. I think it's 1999.
Producer Chris is wildly Googling over there. Chris, did you watch Freaks and Geeks? Are you familiar?
No.
Oh, great show. It was a
high school style.
Yeah.
It was
1999 to 2000.
It was a 1-season show on NBC.
Yeah, it was set in 1980.
Chris, I want you to look at the cast. And these are all no names at the time. Complete and total. Nobody knew who the hell any of these people are.
Oh, yeah. And now
they are the studs of comedy.
All right. We got James Franco, Seth Rogen.
James Franco.
James Franco,
Yes.
Seth Rogen.
Pineapple Express.
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel.
How I Met Your Mother.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother. That's the only ones I recognize.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
No, there's the guy.
The guy who created the show.
That's Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
And then there's the fellow who was on.
Who played the high school friend or the friend, right?
Silicon Valley. There's a guy who was on Silicon Valley who played Dinesh. He played Dinesh on Silicon Valley. And Chris is I should have Googled this myself. Stand by. Do you have any idea what we're talking about, Zach?
No idea.
Freaks.
Wow.
I was like you said 99, so I would have been like
you're high school. You would have been high school age. You're older than me.
99, 2000, you would have been 27?
Yeah, no.
Martin Starr
in high
played
school.
Bill Haverchuck, and he's become famous as well since that time. If you Google him or look him up, you'll go, oh yeah, I know that guy. He makes sense. But
the one of those guys, one of those faces you see, and you're like, oh yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah. Does that ring a bell to you?
Looks pretty familiar, but
Looks
then again,
familiar, yeah. He was in Spider-Man, Knocked Up, Incredible Hulk, Silicon Valley is what I know him for. So anyway, excellent Freaks and Geeks reference. You get extra points, extra credit. It only worked on me.
Am I weak or something? I'm the only one who feels the need to wear a jacket. Is everyone else comfortable?
I'm sweating, but I was doing the work of three men.
You were working pretty hard. I've just been sitting.
I was thrashing,
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
yeah, I'm in a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah, but Zach probably ran 18 miles before he came in here.
Not
too,
18, or a couple.
He's still got the blood pumping. Do you run with your face mask?
I have run with a mask, but I do not run with a face. I did in Mid-Ohio. Mid-Ohio, I did run with a mask once I crossed into the public part of the
Were you wheezing?
track. No. In the wintertime, I run with a mask sometimes because it's cold and have never had a problem. Yeah, the people are like, I saw like a person, a kid passed away after a cross-country meet. And the first question somebody commented on the story was he wearing a mask? And I was like, that's from somebody who's never run in a mask. Like, it's not, people think that it's causing like carbon dioxide poisoning. But if you think about how much the average person's lungs hold, like 2 to 3 liters of oxygen when they inhale, and your mask holds a cup. So pretty quickly you've inhaled all the air that's in the mask and you're not breathing fresh air.
It cycles through. Yeah,
it cycles through. And of course, there's like surgeons and nurses that are wearing masks, and they do crazy things like that require a lot of cognitive skills.
High brain function.
Yeah, high brain function stuff. And they're not like passing out into open people in surgery. So
Mr. Mask Defender, you have no problem at all that the governor extended it through October 17th. And today there's rumor that he has an executive order that either came out or is coming out Friday, extending it to November the 1st.
It's got no teeth, so I don't know what the point is. I guess you're just at this point, you're putting businesses in an odd spot. But at the same time, I think some of the businesses probably want something behind to back up their own desire to have. I don't know. It'd be interesting to ask different groups, do you really want to have this? And if you do, does this help you or hurt your case in having it? So,
well, I mean, in the business world, it shouldn't matter. It's a private business. They should be able to conduct themselves however they want. So if they want them to wear a mask, then they should be, oh, well, you got to wear a mask to come into my business. If not, get away.
That's what I said is Walmart.
That's how it should
Walmart
be.
did it for the state of Indiana more than the governor did.
Yeah.
And then he came back with the teeth of government and the threat of, misdemeanors and jail time and all the other jazz. And
then he got corrected and got his little hand smacked, and now he's hunkering down.
He's not hunkering down.
No, he's a hunker downer.
He's out. He's telling you to hunker down, but he's out doing whatever he wants. Maskless fundraisers and everything else.
That's true.
If you don't, if you want the full rundown, go back and listen to was it episode 176 last week with Kickback Kendall. It was a fun one.
Is it happening here in Newcastle? People, I mean, in Richmond, if it's a chain opera, if it's Applebee's, if it's Walmart, they're wearing masks. But most of the places I go, no one's wearing masks.
Most of Walmart, they
do you just go to flea markets and bus stations and truck stops? Where do you go?
Well, my wife does all the adult shopping at the Aldi's and stuff. I go to gas stations, mini marts, flea markets, hardware stores, man stuff.
I've not gotten laughed out of any place for wearing my mask. I try to wear it. I do the right thing. I don't think I've made the mistake. I do constantly walk out of my house forgetting it. So are you a no mask? You're like a never nude. You're a no masker. Never wear the mask. You don't have one.
If I'm going to Meijer or if I'm going somewhere where everyone's
more
wearing
classy,
a mask, I'll put on a bandana. I don't wear a mask. I haven't bought a mask. I'm not going to intentionally buy a mask. I'm certainly not going to have any kind of branded mask. I'm not going to have a Chevrolet mask or anything. I'm nobody's billboard. I have a ratty ass bandana.
What if Farmer Brad gave you a mask?
No. If he gave me some poultry, though, I would gladly.
You would. Yeah.
He's got 8% off of his coffee today for National Coffee Day. Farmer Brad does.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Act now before that deal is
do
over.
It now. FarmerBrad.com.
The day is ticking away.
So I wear my ratty ass bandana. It sometimes falls around my neck. Sometimes it doesn't. If I'm going into the gas station or something, I don't. I'm not anti-mask. I'm not pro-mask. I just am
mask agnostic.
I'm a mask agnostic. I have the bandana. It's there. It's in my pocket.
I mean, I tried to read the room a little bit in some places before it was mandated. I went in somewhere because ultimately the mask is for other people. It's not for you. If I walk in a room and nobody else has one on, I'm like, I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah. The dumbest part of wearing the mask, the place I go most often is I'll go to lunch and I'll have to wear a mask to go eat. And it's literally most fast restaurants haven't had seating. So it's a server relationship where you go in and you have a waitress or a waiter and they're going to wear their mask. But you go in, it oftentimes now it's just go seat yourself. There's no hostess worrying about it. Just go have your seat. So you walk from the door to your table and that takes 10 seconds. And then you take your mask off, and then it takes you 5 seconds to leave, and then you're done. So you wore it for 15 seconds. But at this point, I think it's theater, right? It's completely just optics and making us.
It's funny because I've said that too. Theater. We've said the same thing. That's why I refuse to go into a restaurant because it's theater. I'm not going to put on a mask just to sit down and take it. Is COVID that courteous? COVID's like, hold it. He's eating. Just wait. Wait till he's done.
Wait patiently
till he's done. No, it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm so extreme. I have a 5-year-old. He's not wearing a mask all day. I have a 7-year-old. My kids have.
Well, the governor says 8 and over. So right now they're safe, but as soon as they turn 8, they're going to drop the hammer on.
Took my kids out of school because they were going to have to wear masks.
Is that the
homeschool?
That's what the Brim family's going to do?
This is what we've done.
You're out.
Oh, we're out. We've been out.
So wait a minute. You're not worried about masks, but you dropped out of school?
Dropped out of school. Dropped my kids out of school, that is. Yeah. Right. We're homeschooling them. My kids have not put on a mask once. Nor will they.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So you've gotten into a stronger discipline now. You've got to be the principal. You have lashings and those sorts of things.
I would say I'm the assistant principal.
Oh.
I'd say my wife's probably the principal and superintendent.
You're just in charge of Jim.
I'm in, basically.
Let's go run. No masks.
No masks. Just running. I don't know what I teach, actually. My wife does all the teaching pretty much. I come home and I'm like, that was nice. That thing you did was really good.
Are they smarter than you now?
Oh, they are way smarter than me.
Yeah.
Oh,
7-year-old.
Yeah.
Do they have their own YouTube channel about trucks or anything?
They should. They should get on that.
Zach, where the hell were we in this? This is what happens every time Mark gets here.
I like to derail things. I'll hop back on the train here, though. I won't derail you too much.
No, it's fine. So, 8 and up, indoor public spaces and outdoors when social distancing is not possible.
But nobody knows that. We've taken our kids places. I won't mention where. We took our kids to a place, and they constantly, from every angle, would stop and offer us masks.
For the kids?
Yeah. I had on the bandana. My wife had would you like a mask for the kids?
No.
Well, we're just trying to, adhere to the governor's mandate. Well, You are. This is a 7 and 5 year old. Well, we're pretty sure everyone has to wear them. No one knows.
Well, then there's another
Maybe you
level
need
where
a photo ID for them.
in some spots it's tagged on to the whatever the county, whatever their rules. I'm like we went to the Children's Museum and it's masked all the time there, indoors or out, and they had for everybody 2 and over.
Really?
Yeah,
2 and over.
And
2
is
and
that
over.
Ridiculous.
Is that
I
their
hope
rule
they
or
close. I
whose
hope
rule?
they go bankrupt.
So I mean, like, and both it was a small crowd. You had to, even like we're members, and we still had to say, okay, we're going to come today, so that they knew what their numbers were, and it was quiet. And they were real polite about it. But they would say, oh, like my son, my 4-year-old doesn't wear one too often, and he would come in, his mask would drop down below his nose, like you need to pull it up above your nose, and they were nice about it.
This is Indianapolis Children's Museum. Yep. They can go to hell. They can go to hell. That is child abuse. They are abusing children, and they can go to hell.
I felt super bad for their employees because like they have like a little drag strip thing outside, and the employees were having to wear rubber gloves and masks, and then had to wipe everything down between every kid.
That is insane.
And they had it cut down from 4 cars to 2. And I don't know, wearing a mask is one thing. I do not envy anybody that has to wear rubber gloves outside. And that day was like an 80-degree day.
Oh, God.
The minute you put them on, they're just a sweaty, sticky mess.
You have to dump the sweat out every few minutes. I mean, what fun is it for the kid to suffocate? I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, at one point we were in their they have a really killer putt course, and we were 100 yards from anybody else. It was so quiet there. I think they're running at at that point, they're running at 20% capacity. So it was a lot.
I have a membership to, I don't do Indian, I don't like it to begin with, but I have a membership to Boonshoft. I think Boonshoft is great.
What is Boonshoft?
That's the Children's Museum in Dayton.
Oh, because you really are from Dayton.
I'm really from Dayton.
Yeah.
I just think it's a better children's museum.
Do you feel like you need an hour? Like you're on Central Time when you come here?
Yeah, it really messes me up. I have jet lag when I get home and everything's. Boonshoft is better. Indianapolis Children's Museum, I get overstimulated there. Not the kids, I just do. It's too big. It's too it's too everything. Boonshoft is a little quieter, a little whatever. So go there. I don't know what they have.
I don't have any reason.
They've
to
closed
go to any
enough
of these
things that are
places anymore,
hands-on.
so-
Yet.
Well, yet. But I'm saying,
you better get on that. Come on, you've been married for what, 3-4 years now? A year, 2 years? What?
I don't know. It feels
Come
like
on.
I don't know. 5 minutes.
The clock's ticking. You're getting old. You know.
But
I'm your age, and I feel like shit.
I've done some Googling, and best I can tell, I'm good at any time.
Oh yeah, you're good at any time. Your wife is like she's 19, right?
Yeah, she's 19. She's almost into her peak performance years. So
right. So
I think
you
we're gonna
just
be
plan
okay.
on just dumping the kids on her, right? She's taking care of the kids.
Yeah, I plan on having knee replacements and walkers, and I'll be just fine. I'll be there with you.
He's got the recliner, the man cave with multiple televisions.
Oh yeah.
I got it set up.
Frickers going on in your house, and
yeah, it'll be fine. I figured at some point they'll just be old enough to cut the grass anyway too, and all I have to do is just.
I can't wait for that.
Look.
I can't wait for my children to be old enough to mow the grass.
Boy, they can mow mine too.
I despise.
I will say that the whole town probably thinks that I'm crazy because my grass is ready to go to seed. Like it's in places it's 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 inches tall, but I am the only person that has green grass on my street.
oh yeah,
Because I didn't let it burn. I didn't do the suburban thing and cut it way too low, and then like
then
it
it burns
torched when
off.
it didn't rain for 3 weeks. I'm an expert.
you are an expert.
At
I mowed right before it. I mowed 4 weeks ago, just right before
With your push mower.
With my push mower,
And now it's probably brown.
Everything's brown.
Yeah, it's over. Zach doesn't have a whole lot of grass. It's got to take you like 6 minutes.
No, my big backyard's pretty big, and there's a dog run behind it. I have to mow 2 yards because I mow my yard and my mom's yard.
Oh well, there's
So between the two of them, it's like about an hour and a half.
Joe Tompkins is in the chat letting us know IndyCar is back at the Speedway this weekend. Zach, are you aware of that?
Pretty aware, yeah. 3:30 on Friday,
That is-
1:30 on Saturday.
That is why we are doing a show on a Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we have to wear our masks at the track this weekend. We do have that coming up. Federal news, the big story, the thing that we kind of want to spend a little bit of time on, not because we want to, but everybody else is talking about it, so we feel like we ought to at least give Mark the opportunity to vent. Are you aware that a federal government exists? We'll start there.
I've heard rumors about it. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
We have a president. His name is Donald Trump.
Trump.
And he's He is very good at business.
He's a businessman.
He was on the NBC.
He runs this country like a business.
He was on the NBC and fired people for sport. And eventually somebody would get to be his right-hand person. And I think that's how Mike Pence became vice president. He won The Apprentice. And there
he won it, moved ahead.
So,
and his puppet brother.
How great would that have actually been? How great would it have been if he'd have done a season of The Apprentice to choose
for vice president?
For his vice president. Or just picked random people out of it. You're the Secretary of Defense. And just,
honestly, for the second cabinet, if he gets one, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, he should.
Mm-hmm. Why not? Everything else has been a mockery. Why the hell not do it for that?
Might get a better candidate than some of the ones he's chosen.
You never know. We'll end up with like Boston Rob in charge of labor. So President Trump's, it's been this thing about his taxes for months and months and months and months and months and years, that he wouldn't release them. He's under audit. Somehow somebody got them, and one of the news services released like 15 years of Trump's tax returns. And for the year 2017, the first year he was in office. By the way, these show notes and all the links for the stories that we're talking about are on our Patreon. So if you go back, join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty, join at any level, you get our show notes and click through and read the articles along with us. He paid $750 in his in taxes the first year. So Mark, you probably paid more money in taxes than President Trump in
Definitely paid more money. Here's the thing. It shocks people.
In federal taxes.
This shocks people that a billionaire pays very few taxes.
Right.
That's the whole thing. People are outraged. They should know this. That's why they're outraged. The billionaires pay hardly anything.
Right. Well,
they find other ways. There's other ways. Their money goes other places. And I'm not defending Trump here. I think he's a schmuck. But there should be greater outrage than just Trump. This is lots of people.
I mean, in the thing that came out this year, Amazon didn't pay any taxes. Because they reinvest, there's loopholes and there's ways of moving the money around. And
if you're constantly rebuilding, you get a tax. You get to defer taxes, right?
Yeah,
you're depreciating.
In the
you're
case
taking
of
losses,
he's donating his salary usually to some agency that he's cut their budget, and so he gets to write that off on his taxes as well for whatever else income he's got. So he's writing off whatever I can't remember what their income is. Is it $400,000?
$400,000, yeah.
So he's every quarter he's released that, hey, I'm giving my money to the National Park Service or somebody else, which would come off of his taxes, right? Mm-hmm. So he does that, and it reduces his taxable income. And then I think they put all of their private holdings in blind trusts, so that's not taxable and it's not creating anything. So
he didn't actually do that, though.
Typically they would do that.
Typically they would. His kids run it.
So he didn't pay any federal tax or very little federal taxes in 2017. Federal income taxes are just one part of the taxes that you pay. You still pay your payroll tax, right? You're going to pay into Social Security no matter what. And then you still have property taxes. So if you own any property, you have to pay that. You pay your sales taxes. You go in. If he's a Florida resident now, he wouldn't have a Florida sales tax, but you do get nickeled and dimed more than just by the federal government. So saying that he only paid $750 in taxes is a little disingenuous, but it's a fair point.
And do people need another reason to not like Trump?
I think
don't they have enough going on?
The more interesting part of that was that he didn't pay any taxes for like 10 out of 15 years because he was claiming such significant losses on his businesses. So like you can see it for a year or two claiming losses, but like if you're claiming losses for like 60% of the time, then that's interesting in terms of him, how successful at business he is. There's also ways to move money around and make things look worse than they are.
Well, you're constantly acquiring properties, selling properties. You're trying to fend back. And I'm sure Tom Firkinoff, when he watches this later, or if he jumps in, he'll weigh in and say, "Hey, this is why you hire a guy like Tom who can figure some of the stuff out for you as a high end CPA." But there's two big criticisms that have come from this. It's two different sides of people that are mad at him. One is that he's a phony. He's no good at business at all. He's a complete failure. He's not making any money on his businesses, and he's just a show pony who actually he's not successful. That's one. So he didn't pay any taxes because he made no money because he sucks at business. Or two, he's a cheater. Pick one. I don't know, but that's the
cheater, or just that proves he is good at business. He's able to move the numbers around in the right manner.
So the question I have for the room is, do you care? Does this matter? It's been like the thing that's been danced around. Today's the day of the first debate. They're in Cleveland, Ohio, because Indiana was not safe enough. They were supposed to be in South Bend, but Notre Dame said they couldn't safely do a COVID style debate, so they moved a couple hundred miles to the east, and they're in Cleveland tonight instead. So debate night number 1. Yesterday, Joe Biden released his taxes. Trump's got released by the newspaper. Do we care? Do you care, Zach?
Not really. I actually, if I wanted to see anything of his financials, I'd want to see like his balance sheet. I want to see what his assets are and what his liabilities.
Yeah, but that's none of your business.
Yeah. Interesting to know.
All right.
I think that came out in the thing too. He was like, he's being audited, which is said is normal for presidents normally get audited, and that out of the audit, he might end up.
Sure, the guy that works for you is going to check, that is going to audit you.
He said he might end up owing like $100 million, and he has another $300 million in debt service coming up in like the next 4 years. So that's interesting, but it's interesting. It's not really like, well, I have to know this.
Tax accountant Tom Firkinoff for Congress, District 6, says the loss can carry forward for 15 years, but we don't know if he used up the loss in year 1 or year 15. So I think you can divide it equally over 15 years, or you can just take it all at once.
Amortize your losses.
Yes. Very exciting. I would take it all the first year because honestly, I'd lose track of shit, and by like year 7, I'd be like, I don't remember anymore. We can't claim that because we've forgotten.
If you're at that height, there's other people who
somebody
worry about
does that for you.
Yeah,
you have
people.
Tom Firkinoff does that for you.
Yeah.
Tom handles that.
Maybe he's handling this.
I could. I mean, are you trying to link him to that? Because next thing you know, the Janine Lee Lake attack ad is going to come out, and Tom's going to have to defend because Mark Brim said it on Boss Hog. You're from Dayton. What are you doing in getting involved in Indiana politics?
I'm saying that to his credit. I mean, look, he got a billionaire to only pay $750 in tax.
So do you care about Trump's taxes at all?
Does the debate tonight matter? Here's what we're going to see tomorrow scrolling through your Facebook or Twitter or whatever. The Trump supporters, they love him. The Biden supporters are like, hey, Biden. And they're all going to pull out the quotes they like.
The Greens and Libertarians are going to say our people weren't there and it's invalid.
We're all going to say we're better than you.
Yeah.
As we always do in that smug way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're inferior.
Like, oh, yes, look at you, puppets. But yeah, none of it matters. This only makes the Trump people love him more, and the Trump haters hate him more. The debate tonight, none of that matters. Short of someone pulling out a gun on stage and shooting a puppy in the head, and then people say, whoa, okay, don't agree with that. Otherwise, no.
I mean, it depends on the breed of the puppy.
It does. It really does.
If it's a beagle, I'm kind of voting for the guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like beagles. If it's one of those miniature pinchers, though, they can go.
Anything that howls. Anything that howls, I have no use for it. They're too loud. I got a chuckle out of producer Chris, he doesn't normally pay attention.
He put his phone down for that one.
All of a sudden, killing puppies. What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey,
That's
listen.
as far as it goes.
I honestly, because every time a dog gets brought up, you go, yeah, but Guffey's dog doesn't have any paws. So I immediately was expecting you to say, if it's got no paws, I'm fine putting it down. That's what I was expecting. And I got to say, so since I've walked in the room, I've been looking at Mark. Has anybody told you today you look like Ted Kaczynski?
Today. Not in general, just today.
Today, that is a Ted Kaczynski outfit. I feel like you're just like anti-government, anti-establishment, bomber shirt, bomber jacket. Probably even got the bomber glasses.
Yeah, I guess I do kind of have bomber glasses. The jacket is just comfortable.
No, that's a bomber jacket. Wholeheartedly. I feel like you're going to start sending in.
Just had a bit of a
in mail bombs. Is that what you're doing?
This is a perfectly normal shirt.
It's fine. I would wear it.
Yeah.
I have no problem with anything he's wearing. In fact, I think the only thing that make Mark's look better is if we got him an ashtray and he would smoke in here on
If I could smoke in here, that'd be great. I'd love to smoke in here. That'd be the jacket is just. I'll take off. Would you like me to take this off? I put this on before you got here, but I can take it off for you.
No, you can leave it on because I'm in the room. I understand there's not going to be a mail bomb here. We're good.
If we're good. I will take it off for you, though. I have warmed up sufficiently. I just had a bit of a chill.
No, you're okay.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Producer Chris, Trump taxes. Do you care?
I don't. Not really. Everybody knows that billionaires have a way to move the money around so they don't have to pay the taxes. That's why we should get rid of the income tax.
So Donald Trump is a New Yorker originally, much like myself, and we both fled the state. He's fled to Florida and D.C., and I fled to Indiana. I was really abducted at 10 years old, and I'm here, but I like it, so I'm staying. There is a Donald Trump State Park in New York State. Donald J. Trump State Park. It's 436 acres, just north of New York City. I think it's in Westchester County. He bought it in the early 1990s for $2 million, and he wanted to build a couple of golf courses. The local Not in My Backyard people said, you're going to steal. This sounds a lot like some of the arguments that we've heard with relation to other developments in our community. You're going to take all of our water. New York City's not going to have any water. You're going to spend all of our water watering the grass for this damn golf course. So we can't allow you to build the golf course. So he argued with the locals over that for, 5, 6, 7 years. And then he said, all right, I'm going to sell it to somebody that's going to develop some high-end homes here, and I'm going to be a land developer. And that didn't work out. Couldn't make it happen. So he just finally threw up his hands and said, "The hell with it. I'm going to donate it to the state of New York, and I'm going to have Donald J. Trump State Park." He bought it for $2 million. In 2006, he donated it to the state of New York, and he claimed that it was worth $26 million. So now, going back to this tax conversation, he has a $26 million donation that he can take.
Mm-hmm.
That'll take credit off of his taxes.
I mean deduction.
Deduction, yes.
Yep.
It's magical. It's completely undeveloped land.
They said it was just mud and rocks.
If you go to the Trump State Park, or the New York State Park website. By the way, I was like, how many state parks are there in New York? There's like 180 some state parks in the place. Some of them are like 10 acres. Some are thousands of acres. Right, massive. A lot of New York State is just wilderness anyway. The Adirondacks are like incredibly huge. If you go to the state website, no reference to it whatsoever. There's nobody takes care of it. The state stopped maintaining it after a couple of years. It's basically just a preserve at this point.
I forget the term they said, but there's no trails, no roads, no picnic tables. It's just like, okay, they put a sign out.
There's a sign up that says Donald J. Trump State Park. And then if you look at the history of it, if you were to pull up their Wikipedia page or any other press release, because as you can imagine, when the controversial president has a state park named after him, they're going to dig in and do a little story here and there. When the New York General Assembly found out that it's still out there, they've tried to rename it like 2 or 3 times, and he says, "Screw you, people! If you rename it, I want it back."
Nice.
So, but that would probably cause a massive tax hit for him. I don't know.
That might pop up in the audit, because I think it's the article that's linked in the Patreon notes is really interesting to read, because it's kind of got a lot of the normal stuff you read about with him and how he does business, where he like had some of his people contact the state and said, "Hey, what about us valuing this as a $26 million donation?" And they're like, no, probably closer to what you paid for it. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And they listed his ass. They're not actually sure what he claimed it as. And he had somebody. So
he tried to make it 26 million.
He listed it on like a thing where he said, "Look at the things I've done," and he listed it there, but they don't actually know what it was, what he wrote it off for. It's just he claimed it on some thing where he said, because I think he did a little spiel and he said, "Oh, this will turn into one of the most beautiful parks in the country," and like they don't even like, it's got a sign. And they're trying to change the sign.
He said, "This is my way of trying to give back." Back in the day, that was his.
And the issues they're running into is every time they tried to sell it, they had to do all kinds of ecological studies and things like that, and so nobody really wanted it. And he had somebody do some work on it, and the guy billed him more than $1 million, and Trump gave him $140,000 and said, "Here you go." And that's all the guy ever got. He didn't bother trying to get the rest of the money. So it's kind of all of the
everything that happens in the Trump story is wrapped up in Donald J. Trump State Park.
Yeah, that is a little microcosm of how he operates.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably was. It was probably obviously worth a little more money, maybe just because of appreciation with time and keeping up with inflation.
Once Trump decided to donate the land, one of his aides worked hard to maximize the value. Apparently, Trump wanted a bigger write-off than what the county said the land was worth. The state attorney general said the Trump fixer, Michael Cohen, called in 2005 to inquire about donating the lands to the state. The official said the official fair market value is $5.5 million, might be in the ballpark, and he claims $26 million. I don't know. You're just rounding up. Says that they says they got a zoning opinion that if it's zoned right, I think it's worth $27 million. So it's all over the place.
If it had golf courses or a housing development on it, probably would have been worth that.
It's got potential.
Yeah.
If you can get all of this stuff worked out. The IRS requires filers claiming a charitable deduction worth more than $5,000 to returns to have a qualified appraisal of the contribution. Of course, it says qualified appraisal. Nobody knows what this is. But they had a big old presentation, and former governor at the time in New York, George Pataki, was there in 2006 when they did the big announcement. And he said it's going to turn into one of the most beautiful parks in the world. Most beautiful parks in the world. Chris, have you heard of this place before now?
Nope.
Do you want to go?
Nope.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there are people that just want stuff that is natural, right?
Yeah.
You just let it be. It's a
let it
wetland.
be, yeah.
Should we criticize him for having undeveloped land that's a state preserve now?
We should praise him for this. I mean,
It sounds like an environmentalist.
He is an environmentalist. I mean,
it's in the Time magazine article. It's described as a wet, overgrown, tree-tangled parcel that sits miles off of a state parkway beginning in 1998 for less than the price of a 2-bedroom condo.
In one of his towers, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in his deal. I'm getting a complaint from your wife right now.
Yeah, it's bath night.
Apparently, this is bath night. I didn't realize.
We do bath nights on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh,
April, why do you think he came here?
She just rolls her eyes when I say, "Hey,
podcast night is
on
always
Tuesdays."
on bath night.
She's like,
That is
that's handy to have
comical.
dedicated. We just do every 48 hours. Then I get lost in the mix sometimes.
Do
and
they
I
trick
forget.
you?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not bath.
Oh, yeah.
we do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and if we're camping or something like that, throw a Friday or Saturday in there as needed.
I have to bathe every day, but I do it standing up in the morning with the shower head.
With the shower head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't taken a bath in I don't know how long. My wife will take a bath. Sarah will take a bath.
I took my.
She'll disappear for a while. And
Can't fit in a bath. The
Yeah,
bath at our house,
it's not
either
comfortable.
I'm either sitting bolt upright with my legs straight or like sitting like legs crossed. But there's not getting in the bath.
As long as we're derailed. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask. In the house hunt, have you guys cared about bathtub sizes? Has this been a consideration?
We absolutely do. We want a bathtub in the house. That is one of the top priorities for us.
One bathtub sounds appropriate. A stand-up
Correct.
shower for the second one would also be fine. But I think
Correct.
a bathtub is probably a reasonable thing if you're
Correct.
going to have a family.
We do want a bathtub. We do want a fenced-in yard. We'd like to have at least 1.5 bath, 3-bedroom.
Yes.
Fenced-in yard.
All
like
you
I
need
said.
is the yard. I mean, the fence.
Yeah, well, I
You
mean,
just put up the fence.
yeah. The place that we looked at in Daleville meets those criteria, and we'll see what happens.
Gonna take another shot.
Yes. In this market, it sucks.
Not if you're selling them.
That's true.
Not if you're the seller.
My realtor just told me the house that we looked at in Daleville that we're interested in. They have already put 2 offers in, and they're planning to show the seller the offers in the morning. So we'll see.
Good roof.
Yeah, it looks like a newer roof. It's got the vents on the top.
Very nice. Good siding.
Yes, siding looks brand new as well.
Do you do like a Dwight Schrute style home inspection where you start climbing on stuff and pulling and shaking and
I do not because
kicking?
I look around and I go, "Yep, this looks like it's solid. Yep, this looks good. Hey, Corey Owens, you'll be getting a phone call."
So the roof has a OSB board base, not the shakes.
I have no clue.
The shake. Yeah, you should check that out. Yeah.
I got a home
Mark, why do you
inspector.
care? Tell us. Have you been?
Very concerned.
Is this a voice of somebody that's been burnt?
I kind of want to see a Mark Brim home inspection.
I feel like maybe after the show, we're just going to walk around town and start pointing out defects in people's houses.
Here's something you should keep in mind.
Just knock on the door.
You should look.
Can we come inside? We want to look around.
I would like to look through all the houses in Newcastle.
I feel like Corey Murphy is just a few doors down, and we could probably bother him and his family.
There's you should look for an outdoor trap, an outdoor clean out for your sewer line.
That is important.
Those are handy. I didn't know that was a thing until I had to get the
Until you put a remote control or a toy
get the
car
roto
down.
rooter go in there and
Mine's in the basement. Not a great spot.
This place does have a full basement.
whole basement. Nice.
Yeah.
Is it a wet basement?
I don't know what that means.
Does it have? Is it a cellar, or does it have drywall and
No, it's
habitable?
No, it's a wet basement then. But it's still a nice bed.
I'd rather go for a
storage.
wet basement because you never know. A dry basement is a wet basement. If you
Mark, have you had with these children of yours? Have they caused you great financial troubles with the plumbing?
no, I mean,
What about with TVs?
TVs?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Plural?
Plural.
I have a TV.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, as in breaking the TV.
Yes.
I've had the same TV for about 12 years. I mean, they've thrown things in. It's
Exactly.
got some nicks in it, but
He's rubbing it in. I have a child that's broken 3 TVs,
3 TVs.
including two.
Why?
Two in
In
a
what
month.
interval of time?
It was 1, and then about a year later, then he broke 2 in about a month. I don't know
How?
why.
And
Just
I
throwing toys?
The first one, he was swinging around a Hot Wheels track and took the first one out. The second one, I'm trying to even place them in order now is the way he did. One of them,
He has. It happens so much. He has them
one
on
of them, he
video.
grabbed a hitch pin and like the pin you put that holds a hitch into the back of a truck, and he just walked up to it and just tapped it. That broke it, and I can't even remember. He was throwing something, I think, at the last one, but one of them was, and it was the nicest TV when he broke that one. But yeah,
And I thought he was going to take out the Elks TV.
yeah, he was crawling around there last week at the Elks. Yeah, he's concerning.
We had a great time. I had so much fun with your kids. They were sprawled out across me. It was a very enjoyable evening.
See, you're a fatherly person. You know, it's a
the
shame to let
kids-
all that fatherliness go
But yeah,
to waste.
my
Kids
oldest
love me.
My oldest was next to him and just leaned on him like he was a recliner, and like he was playing on his tablet. Like, just make yourself comfortable, kid.
All right, last little section here. We wanted to talk about on Sunday. There were some big major rallies. Don Rainwater, the guy running for governor, the Libertarian, he went to the governor's mansion on Sunday and was measuring drapes in the afternoon, I guess, or checking out maybe where he was going to put his pickleball court because they had a big rally on the driveway.
Nice.
And then he went up to Westfield. There's a name of the park, Grant Park. I don't know. It's where the Colts have their training camp. That football team with the horseshoes.
Oh, that one.
The large sports complex.
Yes, the large sports complex. It's the same place that Trump had a rally in 2016, and they had a big gathering. Over 400, maybe 500 people showed up for Jo Jorgensen running for president. She had a big bus tour. She's the first presidential candidate to come through Central Indiana in this cycle. So that was big. It was front page of the Indianapolis Star today or yesterday. I don't know. I lose track. I'm threatening to cancel my membership with the Star because they don't treat people fairly. But for now, we'll continue to acknowledge them. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I didn't make it. I didn't go. I was watching football. When you do a rally on a Sunday evening, that's tough. But it is what it is. The bus comes through, and the bus comes through. If you're traveling around the country, you're going to do it. The day you get is the one you get. You can't be like, I'm sorry, guys. It has to be a Thursday, or my town doesn't care.
And she's not included in the debates, I see.
No. And my feeling on these
Surprise.
on the Presidential Debate Commission is that they're crap. But if anybody has qualified for enough ballots to actually be able to win, so if she's on the ballot in every state in the country. If say you have enough to get the 275 or 273 electoral votes to win the presidency, I feel like that should be enough qualification to get on the debate stage. That would be my threshold. And they could do it pretty easily. I feel like in 2016, people were more up in arms and screaming and flailing for Gary Johnson, and there were concerns. And this time it was just
people are complacent.
People were like, you know what? They didn't put her in the debates, and nobody really bitched enough. It wasn't that is she going to be in the debates or what's going to happen. It was just kind of nobody really cared.
We've learned by now, though, it doesn't matter. So she can get onto that stage and make perfect sense. No doubt, from what little I've seen of her, she is smarter than the other two knuckleheads that people are pretending to enjoy or support. But that doesn't matter. They don't care. She'll get on, and they will still laugh at her just because she is third party, just because she is a little different. And so it doesn't matter whether she debates or not.
You won every debate you were a part of when you were running for office. You always you slayed them. You did well.
Did I? I don't think.
That's the way I remember it.
I don't think I did. There was 3 of us running at the same time that I know.
Yes.
Me, you.
Yep.
And Matt Hisridge.
Yes.
Lives in Richmond.
Yep.
And you and Matt, stellar candidates. I was a bit of an embarrassment to the party, but you and Matt is very sharp. You
he's
were
much
very, very. No,
he's like a
both.
university president, and I'm a clown that has a podcast.
You both tore it up. I watched the WCTV things. I watched you guys were the shining, but yeah, I was a little, if I'm behind a microphone in a room by myself, I could probably do okay. But if you put me in front of people, forget it. Yeah. Done.
I don't know. It's fine.
It's a shame though.
I remember in the one time I was in debate, I did break a chair. I've broken a number of chairs. We were at a Farm Bureau thing and I broke a chair.
I remember that. Greens Fork.
It was my way to get attention. I said, watch this. And then I snapped a chair.
Those were shitty chairs.
They were bad chairs.
They were shitty chairs.
Yeah. That was exciting.
I remember that one. It was, I think that was Greens Fork. Yeah, it was Greens Fork.
I'm surprised we didn't get arrested.
It's probably against the law. I'm surprised Roscoe wasn't there. Did I ever tell you I got a ticket in Greens Fork?
It's our fault. It was this show's fault. I really wish you had gotten yourself a jury trial, but instead you bought your way out of it.
Let me say this, because I made fun. I got this ticket, and on this podcast now, every time, because I hold a grudge, I've made fun of the Hagerstown Town Court and Video Rental Tanning Salon, where I had to pay $7,000 for a ticket that Roscoe P. Coltrane wrote me for going 31 and a 30.
You paid this in Hagerstown?
I had to pay it to the Hagerstown Town Court and Tanning Salon.
Okay.
And I was pissed and I hated it. And I was like, screw you, Greens Fork, and you're crooked cop. I'm 37 and I don't speed. And I wasn't speeding that night. I was going a little quicker up a hill outside of town, not knowing that it was still 30 and not 40. Ooh, call the, and then the woman who picked up the phone there, I'm calling her and I'm like, hey, what do I mean? And she's like, it's pretty self-explained. She was I didn't find her to be very pleasant to a person like myself who could be a bit of an eccentric, and she didn't. But let me say this, Hagerstown.
They don't take PayPal?
I don't do PayPal, so it doesn't matter. But then when I sent it to the Hagerstown Town Court and Video Rental Tanning Salon and drive-through, liquor store, I said, please send me a receipt
I want some
back.
dry cleaning. It seems like they're missing dry cleaning.
And they do that every now and then, every other week.
Car wash.
Please send me a receipt. And they never sent me a receipt.
Still not?
Then I called her back and I said, hey, I want a receipt. She said, I said, I told you, if you don't send me, she said, calm down. Get your receipt. Because she wanted done with me. This is all to say, for the longest time, I hated Greens Fork. I hated Hagerstown. But a couple weeks ago, took the kids out, wanted to get them out of the neighborhood. They're homeschooled, get them something different. We just went on a drive and we happened in Hagerstown. So I stopped by this place called the Dairy Barn.
Yes.
Great. We got there. They had, first of all, everyone's acting normal. No one's acting like, you got to sanitize yourself. You got to burn your hands before you walk. Everyone's acting normal. Got some sweet potato fries, some milkshakes going on. Then we went to the park. I did not realize Hagerstown, Indiana, by God, has the best park in
now they
Wayne
pay for
County.
it.
How?
They get their 10% cut off Greens Fork speeding tickets.
That must be.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see my money put to good use. And that's why I'm totally okay with Hagerstown now.
Probably like a Mark Brim swing or something.
I think there was no trash anywhere. I did not see any trash, any cigarette butts. The restrooms were, first of all, they were unlocked because lots of park restrooms now are locked. Because by God, you use a restroom during these days of coronavirus, you will die. They left their restrooms unlocked.
It's safer to keep the restrooms locked and then put a porta potty outside of them.
That's
what government's
that's the
doing.
move now.
Totally safer. Yeah. Porta potties are way safer.
Because their staff doesn't have to clean those. Somebody comes and cleans the porta potty once a week.
Restrooms were clean. I couldn't see trash anywhere. Everything was perfectly manicured. They had 2 jungle gyms, one for small kids, one for bigger kids, older kids. They had ball field. It was a beautiful park. A little bike trail goes through it. I did not know this.
It's right by the creek.
I had no clue. No one told. I didn't get the memo.
I was a Henry County kid and I played over there. What
great
kind of
park.
childhood did you have growing up on the east side of Dayton? Or the west side of Dayton?
The west side of Dayton. The main go-to park in Richmond is Glen Miller Park.
Yes.
My neighborhood park is.
He was one of my favorite Eagles. Really, of all the Eagles, Glenn Miller was right there.
Glenn Miller.
Yeah.
Wasn't he an orchestra leader or something?
No. I'm making a joke. You take it seriously. It's called Yes and. That's the way we do comedy, Mark.
I was yes and because Glenn Miller is an orchestra leader, and then you were supposed to take it from there because it clearly was none of those people. And yeah.
Well, see, you tricked me because I thought he was.
Aha.
Oh, well, hey. So, what's your favorite park?
Glenn Miller.
Oh God, the orchestra leader.
Yes. And
I think he was in Blues Brothers.
I think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shelley Long was great in that.
And Burt Mustin.
It wasn't Burt Reynolds?
Burt Mustin.
Oh. Did he wear the short shorts too?
He did.
Zach, do you have anything for that?
No, not really.
If anyone gets a Burt Mustin reference, I think you should give them this Rubik's Cube here on the table.
Is it? I don't know. I can't see it from my current position. Is the Rubik's Cube solved?
It is.
What happens is I will fidget with it, and then it'll sit there screwed up for like months, and then some savant guest will come in and solve it in 20 seconds and set it back down, and then we hope and pray that I don't screw it up again. It's been solved by guests like 3 times.
I'm tempted to mess it up right now.
I know at this point I don't know. Chris, could you tell me who's solved it in the past? Maybe
Jacob Serber.
Yeah, he would do it. Maybe
Sean Rao.
Did Sean Rao do it, or did
No. I'm sorry, Chad.
Yeah,
Chad Rowe.
Chad did it. Chad's the last guy to get it right.
Yeah. And I think it's been solved ever since Chad came on.
That makes sense.
And I feel like we should mess it up.
Is it time?
It's time.
Mark, it's at your risk because it's coronavirus time.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to really piss Dakota off to change it, which is even better because he didn't show up to work today.
He didn't show up to work.
And if you have any pens on you, maybe what you could do is just break a pen or two and leave it in front of Zach.
Yeah. Every time I come in.
I want to make sure this is. Are we ready for this?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do we have any Rubik's Cube music over there, Mr. Producer?
Oh, we do not. I'm sorry.
The mystery producer had all kinds of cool stuff over there.
True.
Listen, he's much more engaged in this conversation.
This is hurting my soul because it's going to be. It may be months, weeks, years before this gets solved again.
My brain doesn't work with Rubik's Cubes. I guess there's a trick.
The trick is going to be go back and watch the video and reverse engineer every move he made and hope you got it right.
That felt good.
You feel better?
I do. Yeah, I feel pretty good.
You're going to feel real good until you go back through Greens Fork on the way home. That's 3 Greens Fork references, by the way.
I think I'll take 70 just to be safe. I don't know.
Did you drive the green truck? What'd you drive?
I did not drive the green truck.
Okay, because I don't know if it could take 70 right now. It'll take it.
Oh, it'll take anything.
You'll be halfway to a frame off restoration by the time you get there.
I was going to say it'll drive an upright right through the frame. If there's 70 scary. Zach and I are talking about taking alternate routes to Indianapolis this week with our.
But I'm telling you, camper, I avoid 70 like the plague
on a good year, and this is horrific.
So the green truck, I took it to a place. I've had this truck for years. Yes, love it dearly. Took it to a place to get something done.
Did you sell the other truck, by the way? Is it gone?
The golden one?
Yeah,
it's gone.
You break my heart.
Made a little profit.
Well,
little profit.
Did you pay taxes on it, Trumpy?
I did. Yes, I donated it to a state park.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And
Glen Miller State Park.
And I took it to a place to get a thing done, and I said so how, and then I called the place and said, "Is the truck?" They said, "Your motor's blown."
What?
My motor's blown. They said, "Your motor's blown. We're sorry to tell you, your motor's blown." I said, "I'm sorry to hear my motor's blown."
You said I drove it in,
and so because like there's no oil pressure, there's no compression. That doesn't bother me. and so they said it's
a square body. It's got like 200,000 miles left in it.
Yeah, they said basically it's a boat anchor.
Right.
They say
it won't move this car, but it does.
Take it to the crusher.
You did drive it there,
and I drove it there, and I said okay.
What were they doing to it? Were they changing the oil because you didn't want to do one of those 18-minute oil changes in your cousin's yard like you did for the YouTube?
I changed my own oil.
Right.
That's about all I know how to do. And so I don't want to narrow down. There's a garage I go to that I love. So it's not the garage I love. And there's another garage. And these people weren't wrong.
Why would you step out on the garage you love?
Because this garage performed a task that the other garage doesn't.
This is like your side piece garage.
It's my side piece. They performed a task the other one doesn't. And I'm not dissing them. I'm not going to say their name because it does sound like I'm not dissing them.
Right.
They're not wrong. But they apparently don't know square bodies. I said, that's fine. And they said, well, it's just not, it's blown. There's no compression. There's nothing. I said, that's okay. And so then I got in it and I drove it home. That was a month ago.
Fine ever since.
It's fine. There's nothing. The motors, this is the great thing about old Chevy trucks. The motor is probably blown. I don't care.
You sound like the guy who should have put his pet down months ago, but you're like, it still eats and drinks.
It's down from 100 horsepower to 75.
There's no horsepower. I drive the wheels off this thing. It doesn't even need a motor. It just runs. It runs.
Is there
on
a puddle
magic.
of oil anywhere?
No.
All right. If you're
I
happy.
try not to put oil in it because if you do, it leaks. I keep no oil.
There you go.
I keep no oil in this truck.
That's probably why there's no oil pressure.
Yeah. And anyways,
We've
so that
explained
is to
that
say that the motor is blown in the truck, but don't worry, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like $75,
Do you
you
think-
find another motor.
Did you check the compression on the truck you sold that you made a big profit on? Did it have compression?
That truck actually ran pretty well. But
Yeah.
I sold it at a profit. And
So why did you keep this one, the green one?
It's the green truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because it's the one you've had so long.
Gold,
I don't know.
Gold was too fancy.
I mean, Hannibal Smith had a cigar.
Right. And you have a green truck.
I have a green truck.
All right, producer Chris.
What's up?
Final thoughts? You got anything?
Just some good luck could come my way would be nice. That's all I'm saying.
Do you feel like at this point you're in an eBay auction and you keep getting outbid at the 5-second mark
So,
in the auction?
all right. Zach, here. When was the last time you bought it? When did you buy your house?
2007.
Okay. Mark, when did you buy your house?
2008.
Chair?
2013.
Ooh. Okay. So in 2020, I have looked at 15 houses. 15 houses. Looked at a house on Friday, put an offer in, went above the asking price a fair amount, and still lost.
Still not enough.
Still not enough. And so now I'm feeling a little defeated.
This is attempt number 3.
Attempt number 3 on a written offer.
This is the slump buster.
Hopefully. Third time's a charm, baby.
All right.
Have you had like a couple's photo shoot where you look kind of sad, dejected, and homeless
No.
just like send it along?
No, I haven't mentioned this to Paige yet, but I'm thinking that we are going to write a letter and we're going to mention our disabled dog.
Yeah. Don't tell them about Mark's blown motor, though, because they're going to just
Oh,
put
yeah.
it down.
That'd be.
And I'll tell them I do know Ted Kaczynski if they want to meet him. Mark, I might have to call
if
you.
they want a new pen pal.
I always thought Ted Kaczynski should marry Monica Lewinsky.
Oh,
Then she becomes Monica Lewinsky Kaczynski.
that'd be
Yeah.
All the 90s names.
That's a 90s joke there. I just thought I'd make a 1995 joke for you.
That's why you're here with us.
Don't give up any of your hopes and dreams. An offer might be accepted on a house, but then you think the driveway is a little too close to a busy road. Don't give up anything because you're going to be in that house.
Yeah,
Don't give it up.
Yeah, and I mean,
Keep the dream.
there are things that we want and that we're not willing to negotiate on, but then there's other things that are minor that we can negotiate.
Mark, your house is quirky, is it not?
It is a little.
Don't you have one of
Have you
those
been
where
to
the
my house?
I've seen pictures, I think,
Ah,
of the trucks on the road. Do you have one of those houses where the garage is in the basement?
yes,
Yes, that's quirky.
it's quirky.
Yeah. So you drive in, and then once you get you probably don't park your cars inside.
No, I used to, but no, not anymore.
But if you drove in, you've got to climb the stairs from your garage up into your kitchen or something.
Yep, right into the
Yeah.
kitchen.
I've never been in your house, but
You sound like
I
you've
feel
been
like
in my
I know
house.
it.
Here's what's great about my neighborhood, and I planned in advance for this. Keep this in mind as you're looking for houses. Is neighborhood because it's my I'm still living my first time. I'm 37. I still have time to maybe make something. Probably not, but there's a park down the street. There's an Let me give you this. Let me give you
I
this.
gotcha.
Okay, I'll give you this. There's 2 things. Just 2. There's city or country. Don't go in between. You either get a house with sidewalks and an alley and maybe a park or something within walking distance, or you go way out in the country. Don't move to a cul-de-sac. Don't move to just a house where it's clumped with other houses, but there's no sidewalks and just asphalt everywhere. You go town or country.
You're describing Jeremiah's neighborhood.
I'm in 3. I have to walk. I have to walk a bit of a distance to
Get to a sidewalk.
to get to a sidewalk. I was promised.
They
a
tried to
sidewalk.
get you a sidewalk.
You got to think
I was
sidewalks and
promised a
alleys.
sidewalk.
You got to have all
You got
that.
a walkway though. You didn't get a sidewalk.
And that way,
I got a
now-
walking path that
Walking
comes within
path.
700 feet of a place I can get to safely.
I grew up in a house with it where you park in the basement. My childhood home. Still do. Walk up into the kitchen. We even got
Right up
2
to the
cars
kitchen.
in there.
Oh, now that would be nice. 2 cars.
You had to kind of hook it around.
You had to turn around the corner,
Turn
around a
corner,
post.
but- Yeah.
a column,
Metal
and,
post.
and if you screw up, you deck the house down.
And
you did the
or in my
Buick.
parents' case, there was like a little closet on the back, and now it's just a post with it because it's got electrical, like a light switch on there. It's hanging from the cord for the light switch, nothing of that closet's left. It's the only thing left because at some point it got caught on a bumper and ripped off.
God.
Before I was around, before I can recall.
So it wasn't your fault.
No, it wasn't me. I never got to park in there.
So that's your advice: is go full city or go full country.
Full city, well, not full city. Just go town or country. Town, you got to have your sidewalks. You got to have an alley.
What do you need the alley for? You're
Alleys
describing
are handy.
Zach's house. Zach is close to a park. He's got sidewalks. He has an alley.
Or you have a rural area, but the in between, you have the disadvantages of everything.
Well, I've never had an alley. What's the advantage of an alley? Is that so you can get away in the darkness?
Lots of things. Taking your garbage out through the backyard, through having just a nice place to pull up if you're carrying things into the backyard, kids riding bicycles and stuff. And that's the other thing about...
So it's the backyard access. That's what you like.
And that's the other nice thing about living in a traditional neighborhood. We're talking about Mayberry neighborhood, platted houses, not around corners and curves, but they face north and south, and they're in perfect squares.
Right.
And you got your alleys, you got your sidewalks, you got trees along the street and stuff. And I've been building up to this moment now for years because now my kids are 5 and 7, so they go outside.
Maskless.
Other kids are outside, maskless as well, riding their bikes. As a matter of fact, the other day, pure Americana, all the neighborhood kids playing in the neighborhood, traditional neighborhood. Some were coming down from the park, and my 5-year-old brought out sidewalk chalk, and they all start drawing on the sidewalk. And I thought, this is everything. This is why I moved to the neighborhood. This is why I planned in advance. And all the kids enjoying each other's company, playing and having fun and being artistic.
Did they write mega on the sidewalk?
Well, here's what happened. So then everyone goes inside. It's supper time. Streetlights come on. You know, America as we know, what the boomers just tell you don't even have any respect for. And the next morning I come outside. And I look at the sidewalk. I didn't look at it the night before. It's all dicks. It's all dicks. Up and down the sidewalk. Just dicks. So,
Did you ever watch Superbad?
No.
Oh, that's a fantastic movie.
I've never seen it.
It's either going to be our movie night, Boss Hog movie night with
on the 3 screens?
On the 3 screens.
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to give you I'm going to have it converted to VHS and have you put it in your player.
Betamax, please.
But the main character, there's a flashback to when he's a child, and he's like he has an addiction, and all he can do is make dick drawings. And in school, he's just drawing dicks, and he's got a whole lunchbox full of them. And he accidentally has it in class where the teacher comes and opens up the lunchbox, and he was in trouble.
I mean, it wasn't just dicks; they were outlining each other or drawing stick figures. All dicks. All dicks. And I've noticed this, and then I didn't even realize I was walking to work the other day, and I'm walking way down the sidewalk. There's another dick. I did because we haven't had rain in a while.
Sure. Yeah, they're permanent.
The words I never thought I'd utter. I go home, and I say, go get some chalk and draw some pants over that big dick down the sidewalk. Okay, Dad.
Do you guys have a Facebook community group that they're complaining about? Because in Henry County, it would be on the Nextdoor app. It would be everywhere.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We'd have.
I started
I'd be like,
neighborhood
who
group.
do you recommend for pressure washing to get the dicks off the sidewalk?
Dicks all over the place here. It was in front of, my poor neighbor and people down the street. I even went up to someone and I said, I'm sorry.
If the governor finds out, he's going to make you put a mask on him.
There should have been masks on them to begin with. They should have left the dicks there. I should have them leave the dicks there and put masks on the faces. And I walked up and I said, I'm very sorry. I noticed there was a penis in front of your house. And he said, and I thought he would laugh, which was, I was hoping. He's like, yeah, I saw that the other day. So,
well,
I guess that's all to say. Boys are the worst.
Your dreams came true, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
So that was your final thoughts, I guess.
It could be my final thought.
Do you have anything else to plug?
Do I have anything else to plug?
What have you been doing on your YouTube channel lately? Anything?
I ran out of ideas, and I had no ideas to begin with.
Right.
And so I stopped.
So that's pretty much it.
There's nothing. I have an idea, but it's a big idea, so I have to wait for the right execution.
Is this the David Letterman idea again? Getting Dave to come out?
No. Where's that Janine? You're friends with Janine Lake, right? You guys are good friends.
We're acquaintances.
Have her put me in touch with Letterman. I got a good idea.
Okay.
When you call,
why don't you come out to the Speedway this weekend? We'll meet him together.
The Speedway?
Yeah. Indianapolis.
Because I don't want to talk to him about show business.
He'll talk about race cars.
I don't want to talk about race cars. I just want to talk about his red Chevy truck.
Right.
That's it. That's the only thing I want to talk to him about.
I
think he would be thrilled. I don't think anyone has said, I want to talk to you about your 1973 Fleetside Chevrolet.
I want to talk to him about his Volvo. So we could talk about
the Paul Newman Volvo.
Yeah, the Paul Newman Volvo.
See, I bet people I want to talk to him about the truck that I know just through my watching YouTube, like the things you connect over time when you watch YouTube videos. I watch him on TV, that he bought a truck in Indianapolis in 1973, brand new.
Right.
Still has it today.
He had it remodeled once.
Yes.
Johnny Carson fixed it up for him. Is that right?
No. Johnny Carson stole it from him
I thought he repaired it. Didn't he? Didn't he clean it up?
No.
I thought he fixed it.
No, he didn't fix it.
Oh.
He stole it.
I misremembered it.
Johnny Carson stole it. Supposedly, all those things are fake. And then had it on the stage and whatever. And then they had a second bit, which was Judge Wapner came to mediate damages to the truck. But no one ever fixed the truck. He since had it restored.
Okay. I thought Johnny fixed it, but that was totally separate.
That was totally separate. And he still has this truck that he purchased in Indianapolis in 1973. Chevrolet pickup truck, 3/4 ton, I think.
Where's he keep it? If he keeps it around, if he keeps it in Montana or wherever his ranch is.
See, I wonder where it's at.
These are the things you want to talk to Dave about.
I just want to talk to him just that one singular thing. I don't want to talk to him about anything. Not his career, nothing, just his truck.
You need to buy some credentials and come out to the track and meet Dave.
I've met Dave.
Yeah.
You met him?
Well, yeah, I talked to him for a second or two during a grid walk 2 years ago.
See? Hang with Zach.
Yeah.
We can make this happen.
You can make it happen.
It's not as hard as you think.
I bet if you walked up and asked him about his red truck, he would probably talk to you because
that's an
oddball thing that he's probably never been asked about. And
I want to do more than that. I want to make a video. I want to meet him and his truck together. I want to talk about. I want to see the truck. I want him to tell me about the truck. That's it, though. We just talk about the truck.
Nothing else.
Nope.
Don't give a damn about him doing the weather.
I don't care about the weather.
Else.
I don't care about the late night. I don't care about the late show. I don't care about the Ed Sullivan Theater. Nothing. Just the red truck.
Okay.
That's all we talk about.
So that's the other big one.
Square body life.
Yeah. Square body life. All the way. I will have one final word. Okay. I have one. Who knows when I'll come back again?
I don't know. It could be Thursday. We don't know.
The final word is, this happened to me the other day. I don't know how to communicate with humans. I don't know how humans work. I don't know how. I don't get
about 30% of the time I come across as a jerk, and I piss people
45.
off, and I don't know how it happened. I thought it was a perfectly reasonable thing, and the next thing you know, 7 people are mad at me. So
I have no clue how it. I went to get my kids broke. They didn't break the TV, but my kid did break the glass in a picture frame, and so I took this picture frame out.
You're at like 40 cents.
It was $29.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I decided to get a non-reflective kind of whatever thing.
Is this a picture of you and your wife from your wedding? What kind of a picture frame is this?
Pictures at our wedding? It was a picture of a.
It was David Letterman's truck
of a steam engine. A nice steam engine.
Should have contacted Frost Framing.
Apparently, it's $29 for a piece of glass. They said this is the only glass we have, and so I got the glass, and then I carry it up. And then I'm thinking about where I have to go next. I had to run errands. I had to go get some eggs and stuff. I was thinking about this. Where do I go next? What do I have to do? And I realized that the woman at the cash register has been talking to me and being pleasant, and I was totally off in another world. And I thought, this is going to be rude. I need to say something nice. And I was like, scare up something nice. And I said, oh, man, I'm going to be nervous taking this out to the car. I'll probably break it again. I don't know. I just thought that was something.
Sure.
To talk about?
That's a human interaction.
Yeah. And then I thought she'd say, ha, ha, ha. I don't know.
Right.
I was just trying to.
Did she say?
I wanted to add in something with a chuckle, so I'm smiling.
I'll carry it out for you, old man.
She said, Justin, come here. So this 15-year-old walks up.
Yeah.
She's like, this gentleman's afraid he's going to break this. Will you carry this out to his car for him?
Please tell me Justin broke it.
Then what do I need? Then what do you say?
Now you're in a tipping situation, and you have to. I hope
then
you
give
Justin $5.
What was I going to say? I'm sorry. This was all just me trying to be nice, but not really meaning anything.
This is Larry David. Now you've got to go with it.
So Justin and I walked out to the car.
Did he hold your hand?
He didn't hold my hand, but he set it in the car. I opened the door and he put it in the car, and he's like, have a good night, sir. And
then he held his hand out.
Should I have given him something?
I think at that point you've entered a tipping situation.
Oh.
You were worried about being rude to her, and in fact, you were rude to him.
I said, have a good night. I said, thank you.
That's
and he
not
looked a little perplexed because there's obviously nothing really about me that looks like I couldn't carry a.
You didn't invent
picture
the
frame.
shakes or anything, or a limp or something?
I should have limped.
Yeah.
I didn't limp. Actually, I kind of had a quicker gait than he did. He was walking. Justin didn't walk too
At least
fast.
dropped your keys. Act like you had an issue with grasp.
Do you have a ruling on this, Zach? Did he do anything wrong?
How should I have handled this?
You probably handled it the best you could. It just got away from you there.
That's it exactly.
If you've made it this long in the show, I want you to tell me what Mark did wrong. Email me, Jeremiah@BossHogOfLiberty.com.
Who's there?
And I want to. We need a ruling if Mark did this appropriately or not. I think he should have tipped him, but he's not on PayPal or Venmo to give.
Yeah,
you don't have any cash on you.
You tip cash in a pandemic.
Yeah,
You should have gotten your checkbook out and written him a check and said, "Thank you, Justin. Here's $3.50. Happy birthday."
I said that. I got him out of the store. He got to have some fresh air. He even put his mask down a little bit. You know?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I got to see a little of that nose.
Oh,
yeah.
Now it's starting to sound like the kind of stuff you go to jail for.
And let me tell you something.
He showed some nose.
He showed me a little nose. Yeah.
Nostril porn.
Thank you for joining us. Zach?
Well, that was the longest final thought that we've ever had. L&K Farms got there. We were out there picking up pumpkins. You can get for like $10. You can get a pumpkin that's as big as a politician's ego. They're huge out there, and they have all kinds of produce. Get your beef out there. I'll plug my cousin's business, Beehive Body Company, again. She's out there sometimes, but she's also at some of the farmers markets. But other than that, support local while you're around.
So there's big talk around town that we're celebrating another anniversary. I think Newcastle is going to be 200 years old in the year 2022. And they buried a time capsule at 150 years. So in 1972 on the courthouse lawn, they buried a time capsule, and they're going to dig it up in a couple of years. And they want to bury another time capsule to open up 50 years later.
Ooh.
So that leads to one of the greatest episodes of Parks and Recreation in history, which is the time capsule episode. And Will Forte showed up, and he chained himself to a radiator in Leslie Knope's office, demanding they put Twilight books in the time capsule. And so I want to know what people think needs to go in the Newcastle time capsule. And two, a lot of people thought I was serious on Facebook when I shared it and said, I want them to put Twilight books in there. And nobody, like,
no one got the reference.
It skimmed over about 90% of the people, which made me look like a freak. And I've never even read Twilight. I don't know. I'm familiar with the two of the male actors that were in it. I think I met one of them for a half of a second once at the Indianapolis Super Bowl. Taylor Lautner came by and we waved, and that was that. But he wanted to meet Boss Hog, and I said, hey, weren't you used to be somebody? And then that was that. But yeah, time capsule coming up.
So there's going to be some Boss Hog of Liberty stuff.
Well,
in this,
I probably
hopefully?
should have some of our tapes. Maybe this one.
Yeah.
Maybe episode 177 burnt on Betamax.
I think so.
And then they're going to open it up, and in 2072, they're going to go, well, I guess they use Betamax.
A Boss Hog of Liberty face mask, because
there has to be a face mask and some Clorox wipes in there.
Yep.
We're going to do this in 2022.
It's still going to be around.
This is all going to be over by then, right?
No,
it's never ending.
I want to know what the hell's in it, though. What do you think? What cool stuff's going to be in there?
1972?
72. Maybe some Mopar cart parts.
Yeah, there'll be some Chrysler stuff in there.
Yeah. It's got to be some of that.
I
don't know. Baseball
Despite
cards?
what Guffey thinks, I wasn't born yet and wouldn't be born for a decade.
Yeah, I figured you were probably already about 21 in a drunken binge by then, so you don't remember what 72 was.
Never been in a drunken binge my whole life.
Zach, don't lie to us.
Well, I mean, we have this weekend to look forward to, Zach.
Oh, man, spectating. Drinking is a spectator sport for me. And then what happens the next day is I remember.
And you can tell everybody what happened.
Or I don't. I just look at them and smirk, and they don't know what happened.
Mayor Hogsett says that we have to sit in aluminum bleachers if we want to go spectate, and it's going to be 40-degree bleachers.
Farmer Brad wants to know if he can fit an automatic chicken water.
Probably. I think he probably should start talking about his donations to the committee, and they might be able to put an automatic chicken water in there.
A chicken. Just a chicken.
Just
not
like live or
a
rotisserie.
live one.
A live chicken.
Yeah.
We'll see what's left. 50 years later.
I'd say a live chicken.
Jane Burcham says that she was there. So what, Jane? What? Before we sign off, I want you to tell me what was in there. What did she get to put something in there? Did she
doubt it.
Did she put anything in the time capsule?
Not that I know of.
I don't know. If you had the opportunity to put one thing in a time capsule today, what would it be, Mark?
One thing to put in a time capsule.
You get to put one thing in a time capsule. What are you putting in there?
That's pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be open.
It has to be something from present day
Right.
to reflect life as we know it now.
Right.
But we don't. The problem with time capsules here moving forward is we don't deal in actual tactile things.
Right.
We don't do money.
You're going to
or
put
cassettes.
You're going to put your phone in.
I would probably dump my phone in there.
I was going to say you got to throw a phone in there.
Just throw a phone.
That's all. That's really that is it.
That's it. That's the whole time capsule. It's probably something where and then you open it up.
I put this video in here, and then we made this video. Here's a YouTube link. How pissed would you be? How pissed would you be if you open up the time capsule and it's a whole thing and it's just a link to a video that's been on YouTube for 50 years?
And whether or not YouTube's here.
Right.
Because like my son, the first day he went to school, he came back, he's like, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And we're like, no, you're not. I'm like, you're in first or second grade, man. I was like, I'm going to give you a tip, buddy. When I was in second grade, YouTube didn't exist. I was like, so by the time that you get to be 18, I doubt YouTube's around. I bet we're on to something else. And he just doesn't want to acknowledge that.
YouTube is like 12 years old now. I don't know. It's tough to know. We're going to retire from podcasting.
My mom says she forgets what went in the time capsule.
It was 50 years ago. What's she been doing?
She did remember she's the one that took out the little closet wall in the basement.
All right. With that, we thank you guys so very much for joining us. Episode 178 is coming up next week, back on Thursdays. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at WeAreLibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. And we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to WeAreLibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at WeAreLibertarians.com.